Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a
time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Narrative Podcast. I am your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome to a live edition of the Narrative Podcast. This marks episode 99. Technically, it's 98 because I have had some technical issues a few episodes ago, and I had to re-record the last 20 minutes of a previous episode. So for reasons unknown, I still don't know the reason why, but it wasn't my internet and it wasn't on my end, but the provider insisted it wasn't on their end. So it is what it is, but I'm here. So episode 98/99, started off by saying welcome all my narrators. And then also saying hello to anyone new to the podcast. If you're listening right now out there in podcast land and you just happen to stumble across my podcast and are listening right now, hello to you too. So if you're new, this is the home of, Black positivity, Black reciprocity, Black progression. So we don't do no nonsense and no foolishness on this platform. Sole purpose is to basically tell our stories from our perspectives on our own terms and conditions. And my tagline is changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative Black stereotypes. And the way I destroy the negative Black stereotypes is to provide positive frames of reference about Black people and Black culture. So that's what this platform is about. To everybody new that's currently listening, people that have been rocking with me since day one, thank you. It's paying off. As you see, we're almost at the 100 episode mark, and that, just something about that 100 is just like a angel number or something. When you stay consistent, when you get on your 100th time, something better is right around that corner. Right when you get to that 100. So exercising, you've been consistent, sticking to your diet and your exercise plan on that 100th day, you're going to start seeing results. Other people's going to start seeing it. Oh, you've been to the gym on that 100. Relationships. You ask somebody out that rejects you on that 100th time. They're going to see what's up with you. See, they ain't going to stop. I might as well just go on. Just I'm going to see what's up with them on that 100th time. So, said all that to say that 100th episode of the Narrative Podcast is winking at me. Thanks to all my listeners for making it, a reality. Started this last year, and I'm still here, and the platform is growing. My listeners are growing, and I'm definitely a whole thing on the internet now. So, yeah. Whether it's the support is blatant or subliminal, support is support. So thanks for all the support. All right. So on my live editions, what I do is basically, if you did not know, share positive articles that I come across. And deliver some commentary on anything, any type of black news, anything in the world, or anything going on in the black community. And the reason why I do commentary, is to control the narrative. Because see, the media likes putting out a false narrative, have us, perpetuating these negative black stereotypes. They'll have us looking and sounding crazy for monetary gain and for, to basically keep the balance of power right where it's at. So, it's big business in, making us look and sound like savages. Like it's $1 billion a year business. Not just in the media, but in all, types of businesses. All e-commerce kind of circulate around black people, like having us look an image, have us look a certain way and sound a certain way. So I take a little deeper dive into what I mean later on in the segment. But, this is a live edition, and pretty much I share positive news, delivering those positive frames of reference about black people and black culture. And then, like I said, also I dive into some commentary. I think I also got time to go over my format for my normal broadcast day for the new listeners. And I go into that format momentarily after I finish these articles. Check. Okay. I have to do that periodically, do a little check to make sure nothing's malfunctioning and all my levels are right and I'm getting the signal, because I always TO'd, the last time that I was broadcasting and found out I wasn't actually broadcasting. So I always got to keep checking to make sure my levels is right and the audio is coming through. It's a shame on this platform that, there's no way that I could know if I'm broadcasting or not. There's no they don't have any what do I want to say, like icons or anything to let you know if the signal is strong or if you're getting feedback. So it hasn't come that far along yet, but like I said, my podcast is growing, my platform is growing, so I pretty soon be transitioning into the video side of it. But for right now, it's just the all audio platform, and I got to deal with the all audio glitches and, malfunctions. So sorry about that. All right. So first article I came across was this one right here. The headline reads, Detroit black entrepreneur turned his semi-trailer truck into a bowling alley on wheels. And this entrepreneur's name was Terrence Jackson Jr. He's from Southfield, Detroit. And his business is called Luxury Strike Bowling. It's the first ever of its kind. Somebody got to be first, and it's usually us when it comes to inventing things, because that's, the true nature of who we are. We are inventors, we are creators, despite, how they try to distort and make it look like we're not. But so his name is Terrence Jackson Jr. He launched the company last year and had his grand opening last year on Juneteenth of last year, 21. He got inspired by, Uber and Amazon and Grubhub. So he wanted to, think of a service that, would do really well with coming to where you're at. And, not for nothing, black people, we kind of like to bowl. So it's not just a, specific thing, like bowling's for everybody. Like black people, we like bowling. And often, unfortunately, a lot of bowling alleys do not, go out of their way to provide us quality customer service. When we get our lanes and our shoes and any other anonymity that comes with the facility, but this brother took it upon himself to create a sense of urgency for a product, follow that first rule of business, create a demand. And people like to bowl. It's summertime, so, what more inventive way than to take control of that and come to you. So, you just fathom that, how big a lifesaver that is for birthdays, children's birthdays, dates. To save on the gas, you can have the bowling alley pop up on you. Then to go, driving all over the city trying to find a good bowling alley, have the bowling alley pop up on you. And you rent it out for a couple hours or however. Then also for businesses, a lot of businesses go to bowling alleys to, discuss business, but at the same time doing it in a, a leisurely setting, like bowling, that's equivalent to, a power luncheon or, for businesses. Or for them Fortune 500 companies that do incentive events for their employees. Like they do carnival days and casual dress days, that could be something for them, for Fortune 500 company to do something nice for their employees, take them out bowling, have a family night, have the bowling arena come to you. So that's very inventive, very next level, very ahead of its time. And so we're going to clap it up, give him a warm narrative podcast round of applause for Terrence Jackson Jr. and the Luxury Strike Bowling. I don't know if it's company or LLC. I don't know. It just says Luxury Strike, but yeah. Give it up for Terrence Jackson Jr. and Luxury Strike Bowling. All right, moving on. Second article. Headline reads, one-armed basketball player receives basketball scholarship offer from Tennessee State University. And the young brother's name is Hansel Emmanuel Donato Dominguez. Now, so if you didn't know, this brother is from the DR. And, a lot of our brothers and sisters in Latin America, they don't play those games. They identify as black. They say, I'm black. I just happen to be my nationality is Puerto Rican or my nationality is Dominican, but they don't play those games. They I speak Spanish, but I'm black. And this brother is no exception. So he self-identifies as black, even though he is from the island of the Dominican Republic. So yeah, that's definitely a feat. He lost his arm when a wall collapsed on him. I didn't find anything online, any article, that says how the wall collapsed on him. Like, was he in an earthquake or what? But yeah, so like a wall, came crashing down on him, and but that didn't diminish his hunger and wanting to play sports. So he kept that drive and ambition alive. So if you go to, his Instagram page, in his posts, he puts, about the situation. He was thankful to God that he got the opportunity. And he is on his way to college. He's not letting nothing stop him. They're going to let him play with one arm. So that's, definitely what I like trying to do here is, when I'm providing those positive frames of references that, black people can overcome in the face of adversity. If nothing else, we overcome in the face of adversity and find a way to triumph. All right. Now, some of these articles, sometimes the headline is the article. And so this next article that I'm sharing with you, the headline is the article. Now, actually, when I first seen it, it was in my Instagram feed. I forget which, I think it was the Black Wealth channel that I follow on Instagram. I believe that's where I seen the story originally. But then the feed refreshed before I can jot all the notes, jot the gentleman's name down, and I didn't see the story again. And then it popped up again in my feed because I follow a whole bunch of black stuff on all my platforms. So it popped up on another feed on my Facebook. But yeah, share the article anyway. I believe the gentleman's last name is Ali because he converted his faith. But I don't want to give away too much before I share the article. So I'm going to dive right on in. It says, the article headline reads, New Jersey father went from high school dropout and convicted felon to a college-educated black man who graduated with honors. And so, yeah. So like I said, I believe the brother's last name is Ali because he converted to Islam while he was incarcerated. And he does have an Instagram page because like the original, like I said, I saw the story on Instagram and they put his Instagram link in the original story, but the news source didn't, it just had only the headline. So I've been trying to Google his name and can't find it. But if you come across, let me know at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host and just, let me know the brother's name if you find it, because I want to know his name. I want to keep up because he's like, in addition to that, he's like, he's like a motivational speaker as well. So like his Instagram is going crazy right now and he's had like mad interviews on YouTube. All right. So here's my last article for today I will be sharing with you. And then I'm going to, dive into my format for the new people and just kind of also cement what it is I do on this platform as well for the new listeners, and then dive into my commentary for today. And I do have a speaking point for today, but I don't want to give it away, so here we go. The article reads, in 2018, Torrance Harvey made history as the first ever black male mayor of Newburgh, New York. Now he is making social changes through poetry books. And the 2 poetry books he has written so far is Sankofa. So it's definitely African because the book has a picture of Africa on it, and it's Yasankofa, Sankofa. I don't know, but yeah. And basically, what that book is about is, as it's described, it's a reflective journey of artistic expression and cultural awareness. So I'm thinking, just reading between the lines, as I haven't had the opportunity to read it yet, and I love poetry. I write poetry myself. I have a poetry blog. I'll share the link with you after I'm done with this article, because that's actually a perfect segue to share that link. But anyway, so yeah, that's what that book's about. And then another one titled, oh geez, I did something wrong in my notes. I wrote the same title twice. Let me see that other book. Just bear with me. It's live, people. We live. What is the brother's name? Okay. So next book is titled America, America. And it is actually a penned letter to America through a series of poems. So it's like an opened letter to America, an open pen letter to America. Ironically, written in like the narrative style of poetry. It's ironic because my platform is called The Narrative, get it? But anyway, it's just like an open pen letter to America, a series of, poems. I'm guessing, because I haven't read the book actually, I don't want to, lead you on or tell you something that it's not, but, just making an educated guess, I will believe it's a series of poems that deal with the Black condition here in America, and everything, all our nuances within our culture, and us trying to deal with and assimilate into, mainstream culture as well. So I don't know if that's what it is for a fact, but just reading the synopsis of the book and, making an educated guess, I believe that's what it's about. But I'm going to definitely be checking out both books. Probably go online, get it, Amazon, whatever. I'll definitely be reading it, and I urge you to read it too. And the brother is, a mayor. Like, he has an extensive background, so you can Google him. Torrance Harvey. He's like, he wears a whole lot of hats. He said there's a whole lot. Been on all kinds of committees and all kinds of philanthropy. So, that's definitely a good example of a black man doing positive things. And go support that brother's books plural. And we're going to give a narrative podcast round of applause for the brother Torrance Harvey. And like I said, that was a perfect way to segue into a promotional plug for my poetry. I write poetry pretty much on a daily basis. I have a poetry blog at www.mrhalseysblogs.com, and the name of my poetry blog is called Halsey's Poetry Corner. To support that, just visit the link, www.mrhalseysblogs.com, and, share one of my poems on all your platforms, like on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your Instagram, whatever you got, share it to that. You can also support by following the blog. It's on blogger.com, powered by Adam. The website again is link again is www.mrhalseysblogs.com, and the name of the poetry blog is called Halsey's Poetry Corner. I write poems pretty much every single day. I said pretty much every single day. It'd be some days that I miss. On the days that I miss, it's just because I probably fell asleep writing it. Like, I probably started at 11:30, 11:45, and say today's Thursday. So if I started writing today's poem at 11:35, and then I fell asleep, or didn't finish it until midnight, then it's technically not Thursday's poem anymore. It will be Friday's, and in that instance, that scenario, I just wouldn't post it all. I know it sounds silly, but I try to stay as consistent as possible in everything I do. So I try to weed out inconsistencies within my own life. I talked about a self-rule on my last, if you joined me for my last full episode of the Narrative Podcast, self-rule is, I think, a new self-rule I will start for myself. For every one day I miss posting poems on my poetry blog, I will do 2 poems. So today, if I missed posting today, then on Friday I will write, the Friday poem, and then another one because I missed Thursday, so 2. So that'll be my incentive not to miss posting poems on my poetry blog. A little self-rule. I think everybody should make a little self-rule to keep yourself on point, keep their weapon polished, and just, get better. That's what we're all here for, to improve, to evolve, and get better. All right, so now that I got that shameless plug out the way, I'm going to break down my normal format on a normal broadcast day. First, I usually start off by, inviting Black-owned businesses to receive free promotion for their business, product, or service. And the reason why I do that is to support Black-owned and do my effort to keep the Black dollar circulating in the Black community. So, I put out an open invite to anybody that wants it. If you need or want some free promotion, hit me up at Passion Webmail at poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type free promo in the subject bar. In the body of the email, include a little short, for a brief bio about yourself. Tell me a little bit about yourself, your journey, your educational background, your significance to why you're starting a business, product, or service. And then a little bit about your business, product, or service. Make sure to include things like contact information. If you have a physical location, your days that you're open, your daily business operation hours. So from like what to what are you open? And then that's if you have a physical building. If everything's online, include, your link, where to go to get the product. And just be specific as possible. And then I can be as specific as possible while I'm plugging your business, product, or service. And I'm not charging one dime for it. It's just on the strength of reach one, teach one. I'm not even requiring you plug my podcast as a return favor. I will hope you would, but I'm not forcing the issue that you plug me to. Or even send me nothing for free. You don't even got to send me free product as well. So like I said, I don't want your personal information. I ain't trying on no scam-ish. Just doing it on the strength of reach one, teach one. Next section is a contest I'm currently plugging for my podcast. And the name of the contest is the Chew On This. It's called the Chew On This because I'm giving a bulk supply of your favorite snack just by participating in this scenario. The topic for the contest is Shopping While Black. Share your most recent Shopping While Black experience. And if you do so, I will reward you with, your favorite snack, a bulk supply of your favorite snack. So, to enter the contest, hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type Chew On This /or Shopping While Black. If you don't want to type Shopping While Black, you can just put SWB, and I know what that'll mean. And in the body of the email, give me your Shopping While Black experience. Try not to exceed 6 paragraphs. I don't want a novel. I just want to know what happened. Also in the body of the email, make sure you include your mailing address so I know where to send the snack. And, what you want. Specifics about your snack. What do you want? Candy bar, cookie, chips, what you want. So be specific as possible, flavor and all that, type and all that, so I know where to send it. What you specifically want, and get that to you. And now my idea behind that is, creating a cycle for Black supporting Black. Now you are the listener, so you will be showing me, by entering the contest, you're showing me you listen to my podcast. So you'll get rewarded. And then I'm intending to supply your favorite snack from a Black-owned vendor. So I will be supporting a Black-owned business, i.e. we will both be supporting a Black-owned business, because then you will be the recipient of said product that I purchased for you. But in order to get the product, you will have to listen to the podcast to enter the contest. You see? So it's like everybody gets something. That's the scenario I'm creating. In the unlikelihood that I could not find a Black vendor to supply your snack, I would most likely be getting it from, Sam's Club or Costco. But yeah. Now, after that, I do a segment where I'm highlighting Black-owned businesses And the reason why I'm highlighting Black-owned businesses is, again, to showcase and highlight, our strengths and what we bring to the table. And in that particular segment, I will be showcasing and highlighting Black entrepreneurialism. So people that have, started their own businesses, it's Black owned from the top to the bottom. They hire Black owned, they sell Black owned, And then also another qualifying factor in my highlight segment I look for is, ingenuity. I'm looking for stories where, they have little to no college experience with that particular service that they're, for that business, but somehow they found a way to make it work. Or maybe they did go to college, but, that business wasn't particularly, their field of study. So they didn't particularly excel in that field of study. But somehow they've found a way to make it work. Then next, from there, I will be doing a spotlight. And what I do in that section is spotlighting a prominent figure, a Black figure. It's usually someone in the entertainment industry, an athlete, an actor, an actress, a director, producer, writer, public figure, comedian, spokesperson, just, somebody in the eye of the camera using their platform to, elevate us and lift us up and hold us in a positive light, or just doing some sort of philanthropy, using their platforms to speak on the cause, or, using their resources to provide solutions for problems in the Black community. And like I say, time and time again, I believe I started the way for spotlighting. Literally nobody online or television or whatever was doing spotlights until I started doing the spotlight section. Not one. So I stopped saying it when somebody proves me I'm wrong. All right, and then after the spotlight section, I will go into a health and wellness section. And the health and wellness section is designed to promote the healthy, active, fit lifestyle to, as a way to counter attack, what's going on right now. It's a little invisible thing to shut down the world. Total health comes from, it's like all three is, mind, body, and soul. So it's a complete package deal. And what I do is just basically, provide tips to how to pursue and maintain an active, healthy, fit lifestyle. So information I come across, I share it. I'm not an expert. I'm not an herbalist. I'm not a nutritionist. I can just tell you from my own personal perspective that, whatever I share in that segment has worked for me. I don't just sit up there and, Google stuff and be like, yeah, give the tips. If I'm not doing it in my own life, I'm not going to share it. I'm not going to talk about it. But my intention is basically to, keep you healthy, active, and fit, and keep your immune system fortified, because, we're constantly being bombarded with negativity, and, it affects your subconscious. Your subconscious affects your, physical health, When your mind is at dis-ease, that's when illness sets in the body. It'll come in the form of inflammation. It'll come in the form of tension. It'll come in the form of, common things like high blood pressure, pinched nerves, and what have you. So I just offer solutions how to keep your, immune system up and active and ready to combat any type of airborne pathogen or, nastiness floating around in your atmosphere. And, just so you can stay in sound mind and body, basically. That's what that segment is designed for. It's usually the health benefits of a plant, fruit, veggie, or herb. Sometimes it's a physical exercise, sometimes it's a mental exercise. But the overall underlining theme is to promote the active, healthy, and fit lifestyle. And then also a disclaimer that I often share in that segment: it doesn't matter how, healthy you eat, how many times a day you exercise, meditate, pray, whatever whatever religion or spirituality do you subscribe to. Doesn't matter, how many times, how devout in that you are going to get sick. That's just a part of life. That's a cycle of life. You are going to get sick. So the overall goal is just to basically, maintain a healthy, active, fit lifestyle, because the better you take care of yourself, so when something comes up against your body, you will be able to bounce back quicker. You won't be laid up in bed sick for like a whole week, a whole day, a whole week, or several hours. You'll just be able to lay down, take you a quick little nap, 10, 20 minutes, maybe a half hour, maybe two. Like I said, the better you take care of yourself, the less time you will spend physically ill. And that's all. So not about being perfect or having all the answers, just I'm being practical in that section. So the practical thing is to take care of your body. And when you do get sick, your body will take care of you. Your body will reward you with a speedy recovery when you come up against, an airborne pathogen. All right, and then next is the speaking points. Sometimes I don't have speaking points planned for that day, but when I do, it's usually, something happening in the Black community, or if it's happening in the world, how does it pertain to us? And I tell it from the Black perspective. I unpack it from the Black perspective, because again, to take control of the media. Because if we don't, tell our own story, we will have our story told for us. So that's why I do commentary on things. And then lastly, I close out with a gem, a pearl of wisdom, just something to have you think critically. I really try to inspire and push critical thinking, because, book knowledge is subjective. It doesn't really matter who wrote the book if your comprehension skills are lacking. And so you have to, be a critical thinker in all you do. So you have to question all forms of information, where to come from. You got to break stuff down. You got to break the etymology of words down, origin, all that, to truly call yourself an intellectual or somebody with some degree of learning. And so that's all I try to do in that segment, is just put something on your brain to have you think critically or to look at something from a different perspective. And then I close out. So there you have it, the Narrative Podcast experience in a nutshell. Today is a live edition. I've already read my articles. And now I'm going to unpack some commentary. So you should have already got the hint about what I'm about to talk about. I think I kind of even hinted at it a little bit during the articles. So as you know, I'm going to just start off super positive. Happy belated Juneteenth for all those that celebrated Juneteenth. I'm not going to do a super deep dive because I talked about this last year, the significance of it. You can do your own due diligence on how Juneteenth started. But for my commentary, my underlining theme is that I'm going for is stop playing with us. Yeah, stop playing with us. Stop insulting our intelligence. We don't give a damn about Juneteenth being a federally recognized holiday. Yes, we did have people push for, it to become a federally recognized holiday. There is a woman, 90 years old today, so she got to see it before she passed away, that Juneteenth came into existence. I'm about to punch her name up because I didn't take it down in my notes because we don't give a shit about, part of my language. I try not to curse, but potty mouth alert today. See the sister's name. I think her first name was Ida. Opal. I say Ida. Okay, so the oldest living person to petition for Juneteenth to get made into a federal holiday was Mrs. Opal Lee. So they signed it into law last year. And that really kind of came from, it wasn't nothing authentic behind that. It was kind of everything that had happened, you know what I mean? Because it was, Ferguson and Atlanta, and so it wasn't a sincere gesture. So I'm glad she got to see it get signed into law, but at the same time, it wasn't a sincere gesture. They don't care about Juneteenth. They don't, because it started in Galveston, Texas, and it's basically to, for lack of better words, it's supposed to be, symbolize the end of slavery. And as we all know, my people, I'm talking to my people right now, like white people and anybody outside of black culture, I'm gonna get to y'all in a second. But right now, I'm talking to my people. We don't care because we know slavery has never truly ended. It just took a different form. It didn't end. Not for us. So our whole thing is we didn't have a plethora of people campaigning. It wasn't like we was doing marches and, begging our government to make it into a national holiday. The only thing we want from y'all is the thing you kind of keep on moonwalking and dancing around and, kind of just, doing that matrix bullet dodge every time we say it. Reparations. Like, why is that so hard? Why is that so hard? That's what we want y'all to acknowledge. We want y'all to acknowledge reparations. We don't give a damn about you acknowledging a holiday that we don't really care if you celebrate or not, because it ain't for y'all anyway. So you think we care about you like shutting down so no mail delivery, all the federal buildings is closed that day. Like, how effing stupid is that anyway? How does that advance the movement? By shutting down the post office on the day, by shutting down public transportation for Juneteenth. And many of us are on public transportation. So then guess what? You got to take a Lyft or an Uber or whatever if you have to handle some business on Juneteenth. What else? Other stuff closed on Juneteenth. Post office, if you waiting on a package, you can't get it because it's closed on Juneteenth. So we don't care about stuff being closed. We don't even care about like if we don't have to work on Juneteenth. Because like truth be told, before it got signed into law, we was taking Juneteenth off anyway. Like black people was quitting whole jobs over Juneteenth. We don't care about y'all recognizing it as a federal holiday. Y'all doing everything but giving us what you owe. That's what we care about. We care about reparations. We want you guys to get it through your thick skulls once and for all that it is a debt owed. It is owed to us. This isn't a handout. We're not begging for a handout. This is something you owe us. And throughout history, you've demonstrated empathy for people other than us. We can go to current day. We can go to current day on this one. We don't have to go all the way back to slavery on this one. We can go to current day. We just gave the Ukraine like $13 billion, but black people don't have reparations. We can go a little farther back now. We gave, Holocaust survivors money for the Holocaust that did not happen in America. It didn't happen in America. It happened in Germany. It happened on the soil of Germany, but our U.S. government saw fit to make, a monetary gesture to, give the Holocaust survivors. So it was horrendous. It was horrible. It was very bad. And I feel truly sorry for anybody that went through the Holocaust. I think they deserve, I do think they deserve some money. They do deserve monetary compensation. But at the same time, you cannot compare what they went through, past tense, went through, to what black people, not just here in America, but all over the world is going through. Went through, going through. Went through, going through. Do you see a correlation? Do you see the severity of went through and going through? Do you see that? Do you see that difference? Went through, going through. We gave, the survivors of Hiroshima, we gave them money, but didn't settle up with black people in America. So we need to drop all these excuses about why not to give it to us, like it should have been signed into law so many administrations ago, and we just keep dodging the bullet every time we bring it up. They want to bury their head in the sand. They want to tell us we ain't got it, but then they keep on showing us they got it because they keep giving money away to other people. Nobody should supersede us. Nobody. There would not be an America had it not been for us. We was forced to fight as slaves in the two pivotal wars that, shaped the America we now know as America. We was forced to fight in the colonial war. We was forced to fight in the Civil War. So had those two wars, they could not have won those wars without black people. In the colonial wars, the Britons were overrunning the American forces. Couldn't have won without us. Civil War, they could not have won that without us. Couldn't have won WW1 without us. Couldn't have won WW2 without us. Couldn't have won Desert Storm without us. Man, we kick ass. Not saying like we're the baddest in the world, but you definitely don't want to get on our bad side. So, having said all that, to say this is not a cannot, it's a will not. They have the money to give us reparations. They're just choosing not to give it to us. Why are they choosing not to give it to us? Because they don't want to disrupt the balance of power. They have power over us, and they enjoy that sense of control they have over us. Why they enjoy, us over anybody else in the world? Because we pose the biggest threat to them. We pose the biggest threat to them. We threaten their livelihood. Their egos can't take it if the playing field all of a sudden becomes level. If we have the same exact, opportunities, then, we're a threat. They don't want that world where like all their neighbors are good, 60-70% of their neighbors in the suburbs and the cul-de-sacs are black. Could you imagine a whole neighborhood of Kanye's in Calabasas, like every single person in Calabasas looked like Kanye? Could you fathom that? They don't want to see that. Because like I've said numerous occasions, that's their little cold comfort. No matter how low they are in life, no matter how bad life is treating them, the comfort they get out of that is, hey, it could be worse. At least I'm not an N-word. And that doesn't stop just at Caucasian people. Some of our Asian brothers and sisters feel that way. Some of our Spanish brothers and sisters feel that way towards us. Some of, Eastern Europeans, people from Croatia, Algonia. Like, there's a whole lot of European nations and nationalities that just do not like black people. They ain't effing with us in any type of capacity, and they refuse to ever concede us as their equal. Ever. They don't want to give that power up. But I tell you what, if you truly want change, if you're not black, if you don't identify as black, if you truly want change, if you truly embrace the notion of, commonality, just being the human race, then you should be using your platform to speak on reparations. You should be saying, give black people their reparations. Why would you want black people to have their reparations? Long answer. The long answer is just because it's, the right thing to do as a human being. Short answer is win-win. If we win, everybody wins. Everybody wins. Like, look at it from the business perspective. Black people are the largest consumers in the entire world. That means whatever is being manufactured, we buy the most of it. So can you fathom that? If we had a limitless spurt of resources in which to purchase goods and services, like if we had a never-ending supply, see, our supply we have is limited right now. So as, a business owner, somebody that can never run out of money, that likes to spend money, what does that mean for the business world? What does that mean just for the American economy? All that money being funneled back into the economy. If we win, everybody wins. Because see, we're not just spenders, we're also intellectuals. We're also scientists, we're also critical thinkers. So when we have the correct amount of resources, we're going to solve some problems. Because by nature, we're some problem solvers. You can't go back in our history and look at us as a people and point out where we started the problem. All we've ever done is solve problems all since this planet has been in existence. In every civilization, the black man has solved the problem. So when we get more access to wealth, we're going to solve this $1 trillion debt problem here in America. And that's what they know, and that's why they don't want us to have it. Because, you see, it is a robbery. They want everybody not to have money, but they especially don't want black people to have any because they're going to solve a problem. They're going to solve, hunger. They're going to solve homelessness. They're going to solve all these little problems we have in America when we have the access to the resources, to where we have these tangibles. It's not a coincidence that every single administration has ever given us any type of tangible to make it right with us, or to level the playing field, or to do any type of thing to shift or narrow that wealth gap. But what we not going to do is have y'all sit up there and continuously insult our intelligence by thinking y'all did something because you made Juneteenth a national holiday. Nobody didn't ask y'all to make it a national holiday. We don't care if you recognize it or not. We're going to celebrate regardless. Just like, Mexicans are going to celebrate Cinco de Mayo regardless. Even though like the historical cultural significance doesn't suggest what it, is on television and commercials for, but that's a whole different topic for a whole different show. But anyway, what I was saying about the reparations, if we win, everybody wins, because we're going to come with solutions. Because they're trying to paint the narrative. This is why they keep on perpetuating all these negative black stereotypes. They want y'all to think if the niggas got money, the world's going to end. They want you to think that all we're going to buy is, chicken and Cadillacs and Newports. I just covered this story last couple of weeks. It's a brother that made an air-to-water generator where he's turning the water, like taking like moisture particles out the air and turning it into clean drinking water. So there's like a billion brothers like him on this planet. And all they need is funding to produce, ideas that's going to help the planet. It's going to help humanity. But the greedy powers that be, they don't want to help humanity. They want to keep their elitist cultures and elitist society elite, meaning they only want to select few into their little club and everybody else can die. So I say this to everybody outside of black culture. I say this to a few, because there's all kinds of different black people. I say this to my brothers and sisters that live in Canada. I say this to my brothers and sisters that live in the UK, that live in Germany, that live in Australia, that live in the Latin Americas. Y'all should be petitioning for our reparations just as hard as we are here in America. You can make an impact is what I'm saying. You can make an impact with these computers, with this technology. Like the internet makes the world smaller. Do you have any idea the shock waves you can create on your, mobile device, on your Instagram, on your Twitter? Because every time something happens to somebody else, like prayers up for, when they have their little whatever, it's prayers up for Paris, it's prayers up for Palestine, Hey, damn the prayers. We can bring about change if we have our reparations. Do you understand? Can you fathom that? Because like all these other countries, they secretly want to outdo America. They hate America so much, but then they want to be America. They want to be, what we symbolize anyway, which is a superpower. And why are we the superpower? Not because we're so vengeful and badass, it's because we have all this so-called opportunity. Because so many people love the ideal of America, we take care of our own. Yeah, we take care of our own as long as our own ain't black. But if we did get it, this will create a tidal wave, my brothers and sisters, is what I'm saying to y'all that do not live in America. If we get ours, y'all gonna get y'all's. Because then y'all governments is gonna be looking at our government and they're gonna be like, we gotta outdo them. Yeah, come on over here, black people. We're gonna give you free college. We're gonna give you so many thousands of dollars to start a business, and you ain't gonna have to pay no taxes on it. We're gonna set you up with a home that's gonna, have, damn near millions of dollars in equity. Come on over here. You're not gonna have to worry about energy. That's what that'll set that up for if we get ours. This will start a tidal wave of black people getting treated like human beings, having what they're supposed to have. See, by us not having it, we sitting up there quietly co-signing the mistreatment of it. It's like, how do you just not give something to somebody that did everything for you? All these famous so-called inventors that invented all these things, they didn't invent a goddamn thing. Black people invented pretty much everything in America. But it was the white slave masters that took the credit for it. So don't give us no apology. Don't give us any token holidays. Don't give us, empty sentiments. Just give us what you owe us, the money. Because we helped all these other nations, all these other nationalities of people and have never gone bankrupt. America is not, has ever gone belly up, hasn't gone close to belly up, but they want to create this illusion that if America gives black people reparations, then, nobody's going to have anything. The country's going to be broke. The country ain't went broke yet. I mean, you can't go broke if you're already broke. We're in $1 trillion debt. So, I don't get it. What's the big problem? Why can't you just make it right with them? Oh, I already said why. They don't want to upset the balance of power. That's all it is. They don't want to upset the balance of power. They have the money. They keep showing us they got it. So to my black people, we have not because we asked not. We just keep on saying they ain't going to give it to us. They ain't going to give it to us. Like we ain't never collectively been on board to get it. I've never heard of any, councils or, town hall meetings where we're really trying to get the reparations. I ain't even seen people print up, give us our reparation t-shirts. And we some t-shirt printing up mugs. But I ain't never seen nobody, print up some t-shirts talking about some pay up. And again, reparations is not a handout. It's not asking for a handout. That's asking for what you owe. You owe that. And we need to keep the conversation on it because we don't never want for one iota, for 1 second, to have, white people in America and anywhere thinking you don't owe us. When we started civilization, we birthed America. Whether it's from the diaspora, whether it's from the indigenous native perspective. And most of us indigenous natives, let's be clear on that. They want to keep on selling this false narrative that all of us came over on slave ship to further diminish us. And it's just not true. Although we can trace our origins back to Africa, not all of us came on slave ship. That's just a lie. The majority of us was already here, period. And then how about there's not no place on the planet that we wasn't already at originally, but somehow got left out of the history books. Oh no, it ain't mysterious. It was not to upset the balance of power. That wasn't a coincidence. Every place in the world we set our foot on, we furthered civilization. We added to it. We never took away from it. There's no place in the world that we ever took away from the human experience. We only enhanced it. So why don't you want to enhance our experience by giving us reparations? Why don't you want to pay it forward and enhance our civilization? Like we enriched and enhanced yours. So, and also to my black people, before I end this, I'm not saying just sit around on your butt waiting for the reparations. Like, keep on doing what you're doing, keep on grinding, keep on hustling, keep on going to the 9 to 5. If you already own your own business, definitely go take it to the max. But at the same time, don't not expect to get it. Like that's a debt. All bars call in their debt at the end of the night. And that's what we need to do. We need to start turning on the lights on these suckers to let them know, hey, pay your tab and leave. Because just think about it. When somebody owes you some money in the street, what do? You press them immediately. If you want it back, if you don't say nothing to them, they think you don't owe them nothing. And then after a while, you convince yourself in your mind like it ain't even all that crucial. It was only $50. It was only $100. It was only a couple thousand. This is trillions. And it don't go all the way back to slavery. It goes literally, we can just dissect each time period since America has been in existence where they owe us something. Like the police in the 80s firebombed an entire neighborhood in Philadelphia. This is in the 80s. Dropped gasoline bombs on the whole entire neighborhood. In LA, California, when they created the crash units, they had whole tanks coming up in black neighborhoods like battering rams, and 9 out of 10, they didn't have warrants. It would be the wrong house, and they was either renting or it was in a red line district if they owned the house and the city never paid for it. When the tanks would go up in the houses thinking they was crack houses. And then sitting the psychological effects of having, helicopters in your neighborhood, waking up, that's Ain't that what they do? Haven't you ever like watched a war movie like Platoon or something? Waking up to helicopters. Do you have any idea the psychological effects that does? They tracking people through heat sensor technology from the sky, and y'all don't owe us no money. So that's all I really have to say on reparations. That's my final word. It is a debt. It's not a handout, and it's time to pay it. So that'll do it for this live edition of the Narrative Podcast. I would like all of you guys to tune in next week for my full episode of the this weekend. Excuse me, I said next week. This weekend, I do full broadcast of the Narrative Podcast every single weekend. Saturdays, to be specific. Be watching out for a full episode. Always continue to, listen, because I don't know when I'm going to do my live. When I do my lives, I'm nearly at 100, I'm nearly on my 100th episode in July. Probably like the second week it'd be organically my 100th episode. So doors is already opening up. When that magic 100 number comes, it's a rapper dapper. I got all kinds of projects over the rise. Finna wrap this thing. Finna start transitioning into, camera, letting you see my face. Finna transition into like video format from this audio format. Got all kinds of stuff. Like I said, all kinds of projects coming at you real soon. I already told you about the poetry blog. So for this podcast, please download this episode of the Narrative Podcast. Anytime you see it, and make sure it's the one hosted by Halsey Allen, because there's like a billion like narrative podcasts, but this one right here, hosted by Halsey Allen, yeah, that's the deal. I don't know about the rest of them guys. Like, I've listened to a few and it don't even make sense for it to call it the narrative. Like, I don't know what they're changing. But anyway, yeah. So download the Narrative Podcast, all episodes of the Narrative Podcast. This episode of the Narrative Podcast, if you're listening right now, download it. I also want to apologize for what in advance for when I'm about to share, on other platforms. You're going to hear a whole bunch of ad rolls all the way through the podcast, but keep listening anyway. It's monetized, so there's like a gang of ad rolls. But yeah, download this episode of the Narrative Podcast and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Keep supporting. Tell people about it, word of mouth. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep on putting it out in the universe. And, we are going to change the narrative. So, peace to everybody. Hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, wherever you're at in the world. This has been another episode of the Narrative Podcast. Narrative Podcast, Halsey Allen, signing off. Thanks. Love.
Set your place on fire. Put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of gasoline. Put a little bit of shit, put a
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.